As a human being, you get tired.
In my mind, I don't think that we were that close before the accident. Do you think it had a negative impact to the family? Hello friends, my name is Brian Mushiri and welcome to my channel. Karibu sana if this is your first time being here, and welcome back if you've been here before and you've selected and chosen to come back. I want to say thank you so much for the love and support that you have all been showing me in the past videos, especially the most recent video, the morning routine video. That one has really warmed my heart, and all the warm comments under the video, they have really made me feel validated. So I'm not alone today. As you can see, I'm with my father here. Some of you who have seen the videos, who have watched the videos, may already have recognized him. And I've been thinking about doing this video for a long time. Well, not for a long time because I've not had this channel for a long time, but especially since we did the morning routine video, and you guys, I saw in the comments you are showing a lot of interest in wanting to know my dad and who he is and what he does. And it is very important for me in this channel to just put a voice to the face of my dad, and who is also my caregiver. So that is what we are going to be doing today. We are going to be exploring who he is and the complex relationships between father and caregiver, and how our relationship has evolved over the years. But before we do that, we're going to begin by doing an introduction. So we're going to tell us who you are, what you do, and maybe a fun fact about you.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Ohenya Mushiri, and Brian's dad, and welcome to his channel. I'm almost 55 years old now, and I can say the fun fact is that I like listening to music when I'm working. So I think that's the fun fact that I can say I have.
You didn't tell us what you do for work.
Oh, I'm a farmer.
Yeah. So how we are going to do this is, I have a couple of questions, quite a number of questions here that I'll be using, and I'll be using to guide the conversation. And I'll be asking my dad for today. Maybe in a later video we can have questions for both of us. And I'm going to ask him, and hopefully he's going to answer. The questions are not going to be too difficult or too complicated for him to answer. So I feel like the first and most important question is, can you describe the day of the accident and how you felt when you first heard of the news?
It was on a Saturday morning. It was around 7:30 when we received a call from Brian's cousin, and he told us that Brian was involved in an accident and that he was in hospital in Nakuru town, which is about 15 or so kilometers from home. We could not believe it, because we knew, or we thought, Brian was in his room. So I went and checked, even without telling anybody what the news, what the phone call was saying. So then I went and checked, and he wasn't there. So I knew the news was as right as it was delivered. So we got ready, me and my brother and Brian's mom, and we went to Nakuru, to the hospital, and it was difficult at first.
Yeah. So in case you don't know, if you have just landed on this video for the first time, I have a spinal cord injury, and I sustained that injury through a road accident 10 years ago. So that is what my dad is trying to describe. So the second question is, what were your initial thoughts and feelings when you found out about the severity of my injury?
At first, I didn't understand, because I had never dealt with a person with a spinal cord injury. Well, I had read about it. I had heard in the news about people with that condition, but it didn't hit me that it was that severe. So I think it dawned on us much later about the severity of the injury.
Yeah, because I have a C5, C7 spinal cord injury, and that means I don't have feeling or sensation anywhere below my armpits. And personally, I found out about how severe it was when I got home. So that would have to be maybe April or March.
Yeah, it was around, maybe March. Yeah.
Did you have a moment where a doctor sat you down and talked to you about what my injury was, and what you would expect in the days and years to come?
After we were called in the hospital in Nakuru, we asked for a referral to Nairobi, because at that time you could not find a neurosurgeon here in Nakuru. So we moved Brian to Nairobi the same day. We arrived at around midnight on that Saturday evening, and due to some financial complications, we had again to move him from Aga Khan to Kenyatta National Hospital. So that is where he got his surgery. And after the surgery, that is when the doctor sat me down and talked to me about what spinal injury was and everything that entails all that process. And that is when I actually started understanding what spinal injury was.
Yeah, personally, I don't think anybody told me about it, so I had to discover it for myself on Google when I could finally get the strength and the ability to use my phone. So I feel like maybe doctors, especially here in Kenya, I don't know if that is the case with other people, but probably doctors should think about having that conversation, not only with the caregivers and parents, but also with the patient as well. So the third question is, what is the most challenging thing about transitioning? What was the most challenging thing about transitioning into the role of the primary caregiver?
A few months after Brian came from the hospital, I met a friend, an old friend. He was on a wheelchair. We had met through another friend. So when we met, he told me that this is a club that you do not ask for permission to go in, or you apply, and once you are in, you are in. So I think it's the same as caregiving. I had not done any caregiving before, but now I had to do it. I was committed to it, and this is my firstborn son, and he needed care. I was there, and I think I learned as we moved on. I started to understand what to do. I think I can say it's learning on the job.
Yeah. But I also know that at some point you gave care to your grandfather as well.
Yes.
Commercially.
Oh yeah. A long time ago, I think I was in primary school some years back. My grandfather was also bedridden, and he needed care. I took a little care of him. Then I went to secondary school, and he passed on when I was, I think, in Form 1. Then my father, who is now, Brian is named after my father. So my father also, in his later years, he wasn't that strong, and he needed care. He needed to be taken care of in small things, and I was also around to do that. So I think caregiving started way back without even realizing that I was doing it.
Yeah, you just said you had not given care before, but upon further introspection, you realized that you had done it before.
I think I had done it before, but it never crossed my mind that I was, because it wasn't full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like anyone can give care when they are put in that position, or do you think that there are some people who can't really give care to a person who needs that help?
I can say that we are all wired differently. There are people who are able to do some things, and there are the others who may want to do, but maybe they cannot. But I would say, given or put in a certain situation, you find yourself doing things that you didn't know that you could do. So I never thought that I would be doing this, and I've been doing it, and it's become a commitment. It's like what you do every day. So it's become part of me.
Yeah, every day without fail for 10 years.
Yes.
and that is a long time.
Yeah.
So the next question is, can you take us through a typical day of your life as my caregiver? Just take us through, I think a good place to start would be maybe 3 a.m. in the morning, because we have a turn-in schedule.
Yeah.
Just short bullet points of how your care looks for you.
I've woken up at 3 a.m. now for the last 10 years, so it's in me. I don't need an alarm. So at 3 a.m. I wake up and help Brian to turn. For reasons I think he has explained in the other videos about the Godward.
Yeah, precious souls. I can't.
Precious souls, and
yeah, because I'm very susceptible to getting precious souls due to the fact that I'm not mobile enough. I cannot turn myself yet in bed, so I need help constantly. After a few hours interval, I need someone to come and help me to turn from one side to the next, just to relieve pressure from my skin, so that I don't get those sores which can be deadly actually.
And then we wait until morning. So when I wake up in the morning at around 6, we do the chores which we do here at the farm. There are things we take care of, the farm. Maybe that day we're doing some spraying. So we do all that, and we start our morning routine at around 7:30 or so. So most of the times we don't do the full shower procedure as the previous video showed, because it takes a lot of time, and so we do sponge bath, which takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour. That is every day. And also we also do physiotherapy every day, and that takes a few minutes, and then he's ready to start his day, and I'm also ready to do the other kind of work that I do.
Yeah, the good thing about our routine these days is the fact that having now a power wheelchair, from the moment I sit on my chair after the morning routine, I am independent, mostly independent from that point, and I can exist without having to require my dad's help, unless maybe there's an emergency, like maybe I have a stomachache or I need to go back to bed, I'm too tired, but that is on very rare occasions. So yeah, that is how my routine and his routine are now tied to the hip, We do almost the same things in certain parts of the day, but as you have heard, his perspective is very different from mine because he has to wake up a couple of times a night to help me turn, especially. So the next question is, what are some of the most rewarding moments you've experienced in your caregiving role? If there have been any.
There have been, and I think I can say starting with is the time that you spend with the people that you love. The time that I've spent with Brian it's been rewarding because we've gotten closer as father and son, and we have shared so many things and experiences. There are things that he didn't know about me, and now by virtue of being around so much, you also get to know and to learn about the person better. So that is one. Number two, it has knit our family together, and we've come closer as a family. And I've also traveled. So I can say, courtesy of him, I've traveled out of the country, and I'm thankful for all that.
Yeah. You've mentioned traveling. Maybe in a separate video we can talk about our experiences traveling when we traveled to the States last year, 2023, for a fellowship called the Mandela Fellowship. I wanted to ask, I just wanted to ask you how you felt about our relationship compared to now and before the accident, because in my mind, I don't think that we were that close before the accident. It was just a normal father and son relationship. And I don't know what is his perspective on how our relationship was before.
I would say our relationship has grown and has become stronger. When he got the accident, he was barely 20. So in those years, you tell your son do this, and he does, and all that. Now he's changing to a phase where he's become a young adult, and you start sharing some things that you couldn't share before. You talk about family. You talk about, I've met his girlfriend. Those kind of things, as he grows, I've also grown older. So I think we have shared much, much more since the accident, more than we were doing before. Yeah.
Do you think that my accident have impacted our family or your relationship with my mom? Do you think it had a negative impact to the family?
As far as I'm concerned, I would say the accident actually brought us even much closer than we were. Brian's mom has been my best friend since we got married. It's now over 30 years, so in the last 10 years, our marriage has become even stronger. So I would say, as far as the family is concerned, our marriage has been stronger. Well, the accident impacted us a lot, mostly because of financial implications and the things that were supposed to be done, and you have no choice. You have to do those things. You have to buy some stuff that you didn't know that they even existed. So, yeah, I think those have been the challenges so far.
I was going to ask you the biggest challenges you faced, but I think you've already mentioned, you've touched on that. So have you ever felt overwhelmed or needed a break? If so, how did you handle those moments? Because we have talked about you having given care for 10 consecutive years. Of course, at some point you must have felt you needed a break. So how did you deal with that?
But caregiving, especially to Brian, has not been that intense unless he's not feeling well or he needs more care than we do every day. So we do, like, you wake up in the morning, you take a shower, you go to work and come back. It has become so normal. Like he's a part of me now. So after I do the morning routine, I can relax. I can do whatever that I want. If I want to rush to town, I can do that. I know that he's in good hands even when the mom is around, and he doesn't need me that much during the day unless there's something special that he needs me to take care of. So I would say I relax. So getting tired, as a person, you get tired. 10 years is not a short time, but you move on. You move on because this is something that you've made your mind that you're going to do. It's your calling, it's your duty, it's your commitment. So you do it, and you do it to the best of your ability, and you ask God for strength and grace to do that, and He does that. He provides you with that. So you move on, and you see the fruits of what you're doing. The friends who come around and the comments that they make, you feel you are encouraged, and you feel you're doing the right thing, and that is all maybe a parent would want.
Yeah. And I've always carried some guilt about the fact that I uprooted the family's life and forced you to be a caregiver, you and mother, and all the family now is affected in one way or another. When I say I feel some guilt, due to the fact that now you are my primary caregiver for 10 years now, how do you feel about it? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I think I can understand that. Because as a person, we've been living together now for the last so many years. So you know the kind of life that we were living before. I would go, maybe take 2 or 3 days, and without coming back because of work, and now I cannot. You are bound to feel that way, but I think God destines people to certain modes or certain styles that He wants you to live from this time going forward. So I think it was time for us to settle down, do what we are supposed to do, and I would say it was God's plan, because in that car, you were 5. You were 5 in the car, and 2 of you survived. It's not because maybe you're too good for that, or the other people were not. They were bad. But I would say God desired that you be saved. You be saved in that condition, and He knew that we will take care of you, and it's something that we have committed to do, and we will do to the best of our abilities until God decides otherwise. Yeah.
I had written a question: how has being a caregiver changed you as a person? I feel like you have touched on that, but would you want to add briefly on that point? How has being a caregiver changed you as a person?
I think being a caregiver has changed me in certain ways. I would say I've become more conscious about the people with disability, because I never dealt with one as closely as I do now. I'm more aware of the challenges that caregivers go through. I'm more aware of the challenges that people who need care go through. I'm more aware of the challenges that the families who are touched by the person who has a disability go through. And when I see maybe in the news and or in the print media about those situations, it really pains my heart, because I know and I understand what they go through. And sometimes it's sometimes it's very, very difficult, especially when you need to balance about food and other needs of the family. It's really challenging. Yeah.
On one of my comments, there was a woman who watched the video, the morning routine video, and she said that she has a child who is newly injured, and the woman I think has been hoping that the son is going to walk again, be on their feet again. But when they saw the morning routine and they saw that I've been on a wheelchair for 10 years and I still need so much caregiving, they felt like they were heartbroken, that was going to be the reality of their lives. So what would you say to a person who has just begun their caregiving journey?
I would say that those questions and those questions must always come, because you are thrown into a situation that you didn't know, or you cannot even start to understand. So I would say you take one day at a time. When we started this journey, I had a friend who had gotten into an accident. Well, I had met him a few years before, and when he visited us, just to encourage Brian and all, he was into his 4th year, I think, and we hadn't even done about 6 months. So I was asking myself, what will I be doing 4 years to come? And yet he looked so relaxed, and he was happy. He was even driving his own car. He was independent. So I would encourage you as a parent or as a caregiver, just take one day at a time. There are things that you cannot understand. So you take one day at a time, you do what you're supposed to do. If God wills it, your child will walk. If God has decided that is the end of him walking, then you take it as it is, and God will give you the strength to move on, and you will move on. And He will give you a good life. And to us, in the first few months and maybe a year or two, we were thinking so much about if he would walk or if he would do other things. But as time went by, it wasn't something that we were looking so much, or we were so eager about, because the other challenges which were so big. And like Brian's mother would say, we'll do what we can do, and then if walking comes, it will get us on the way, and we will walk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Is there anything you wish more people would know or understand about being a caregiver?
I would say caregivers also need to be taken care of, because they change. They take so many roles. They become nurses. They become comforters. They become a friend. All those roles rolled into one, and maybe they also need emotional. They need to be not to be so stressed. I would say they also need to be taken care of. No, just maybe somebody to talk to, and sometimes they want to let it all out and do the things that they makes them happy. If it's listening to music or going to a movie and all that, I think they also need that.
Do you feel like at this point in time you're getting the support you need when maybe things get overwhelming for you?
Support in which way?
In terms of, we just said caregivers also need to be taken care of. So that kind of support, do you get that support? Are you getting that support right now?
Oh, at home I get lots of it. So I'm very appreciative of that, because I cannot complain. I'm talking generally that caregivers also need to be taken care of in small ways, that they also feel that what they are doing is being appreciated. Yeah. If you remember, when we went for the first physiotherapy in Nakuru, the physiotherapist told you that everything that a person does for you, Brian, you remember to say thank you. And I think you took that seriously, and you always tell me thank you, and it has become norm for you to tell me thank you about when I do something for you, and you know what I always say, no problem. And so we have formed that relationship, and you also, even a thank you is enough, and you feel that person or that family is in your court, and you feel good.
Yeah. You know, there are husbands out there who are taking care of their wives. What would you want? Because again, of course, you're not in that situation, but what advice would you give to partners taking care of each other? Because again, that I think makes it more complex, because you are taking care. This is not your son, this is your partner, and there can be friction. So, what advice would you give to partners taking care of their other partners?
First, I would say that they are doing a great job, and once you commit to have family, you commit to do all you can for your family. So if at one point your partner needs care, it's you to do it and nobody else. So you do it, and you do it without listening to so many things coming out of we Africans, and sometimes we want to classify or to do so many, or to say so many things that this surrounds this, and you do your duty, you do your commitment, you do what you're supposed to do, and I think we are called to do that as partners, because we vowed to be there, to stand with your partner till death does us apart. So I think you should feel encouraged to do what you're doing with no apologies. Actually, yeah.
As we get ready to wind up, have you ever found yourself in a position where you yourself need care? Maybe not as significant as being having a disability, but maybe is there a time where you have been sick or maybe unable to do some your basic activities and you've required care?
Yes, I've been in that situation. I needed care several times.
And how different was it from receiving to giving care?
It wasn't as I didn't need so much care as far as you need this to be done for you. But you also feel good when you need that care and there's somebody who can do that for you. So I was very appreciative in those instances when I needed care and Brian's mom was around, and she took good care of me, and she has always done that. And I would say she's a strong cord in the family. She encourages us, and she's always there, and she makes us do things that maybe we would feel we can't do. So I got the care that I needed at that particular time. Yeah.
So can you share a funny or heartwarming story from our journey together? Because you've talked about very serious things throughout the video. Maybe we can, as we are finishing, maybe if there's something funny or heartwarming that a story or anything or a thought or something that was said in our journey that you would be comfortable sharing.
There are many things that have warmed my heart. Now, where would I start? Let's say every day or most of the times we are laughing at home. We are making jokes, and we've become friends. Brian friends have come, and some have come from far, and we share. They show their respect, and we feel what we are doing is good. And there are many things that I would actually, but I can't pinpoint and say this was the happiest, but it's been a journey full of maybe laughter and good times.
Yeah. I think for me, I would say, in hindsight, they are funny, but when they are happening, the moments that I remember or my mind goes back to was usually the hard times that we've had. Maybe I've had a bathroom accident or something like that. Maybe when we are traveling, and then we have to figure out ways about how to deal with that. Mm-hmm. So that ends up being a very interesting story. Mm-hmm. I remember this one time in 2022, I had traveled to Nanyuki or Narumoro for our friends through Russia. And it was a long drive, almost 5 hour drive. And we traveled well from Nakuru to Narumoro. And the moment we arrived at the venue, my stomach decided that it was time to erupt and do all manner of things. So I had a stomach upset, and now we had to figure out what we were going to do because we were so far from home, 5 hours from home. And my stomach has decided that I'm not going to be in peace, and the Rorashu has already started and we had to leave. If you can remember, we had to leave in a hurry as we were getting into the venue. As the bride and groom were getting into the venue, we were leaving,
and they were wondering why are you leaving, and you had stayed for long and you had waited for them, and then when they are coming, you are leaving, and those are things that at that time they look very complicated, but later you laugh about them because you are used to. Now you decide now from here, what are we going to do? We look for a place where he can lie down and release whatever he wants or he has.
Yeah.
And then life goes on, and tomorrow you'll be laughing about it. And to you, I think it's okay. You get to move on. Yeah.
And I feel like challenges, when we think about challenges, we think about all the ways they are going to complicate our lives. But I feel like looking back at the things that we've gone through, we have always learned something new from the challenges, and we always come out with a very good story that we can share with each other, and we can almost even make fun of and even laugh about it, no matter how serious it felt when it was happening. So as we are winding up, what are you most proud of in your role as a caregiver?
I would say is seeing what you're doing it right, and the person who you are doing it to is appreciative of what you're doing, and your work is appreciated. I think that is all you need as a person. And I've gotten that. Brian is very respectful. I've never had instances where I needed to rebuke him for something, maybe what he said or something that he needed to say and he didn't do. Well, there are corrections here and there, but I can't pinpoint a time when I felt I can't do this anymore because of him or because of somebody else. So I would say that it's difficult, yes, but it's something that you do and you are encouraged and you are appreciated. So you feel as if it's a part of you. So you continue doing it.
Yeah. So second last question. What is there anything you would like to say to, I think you've already addressed caregivers, but is there anything you would like to share to people who are receiving care, maybe who might be watching this video?
There's something that we always talk about with Brian, about people. It's not that every person that gets an accident and he needs care is a good person. And not every caregiver is a good person. We are all different people with different personalities. So if you are caregiving a person and they are not appreciative, they are not good to you, and what you're doing you must do, then just do your job. And for the person who is being taken care of, remember that person could be doing something else, maybe something that they would rather be doing rather than taking care of you. So I would say you appreciate the work that is being done on you. You say thank you because that is all that maybe that person needs to hear. And also, you also do your part, because everybody has his own part. And life will be easier and better for both of you.
Yeah. I want to say thank you for agreeing to come on video and share your thoughts and feelings about this subject that we are talking about. I feel like there are so many people out there who are giving care and receiving it and feeling like they are alone and no, they can't find someone who can relate with them. And especially as caregivers don't get talked about as much as they need to. The caregivers don't get that opportunity to share their thoughts and feelings. So I want to thank you for not only giving me care, but also sharing yourself here on YouTube. What are your thoughts about my new journey on YouTube and the videos that I'm creating? And do you feel like my thoughts or my vision is to reach other people, especially here in Kenya, because we don't have another creator who is maybe sharing, a disabled creator who is sharing their lives in the way that I'm doing. So what do you think about this journey that I'm currently on right now?
I think it's good because you are informing people about things that they maybe they didn't even know. You're also encouraging people who are in those situations. And I would say it's good what you're doing, because even as being part of this initiative, I think it's also important to show the people that there's a lot of work which is being done by caregivers and people who take care of caregivers and the people with disabilities. So I think first of all, it's informative and it's also very encouraging. And from the comments that I've seen, from the videos that you've done, I think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the support. Whether it comes to shooting, to helping me shoot, or helping me prepare for these videos. So I value your input, viewers and mothers' input when it comes to creating content, and I will not be able to do it the way I'm doing it if it wasn't for you. So thank you. So do you have any parting shots as we finish the video? Or have you said enough for the next 2 weeks? Have you talked enough for the next 2 weeks?
Maybe I've talked enough English for the next 2 weeks, but I would say there's much to talk about. There's so much to talk about. We can get into the nitty-gritty of things like how to take care of bed sores, how to turn, all those things. Those are things that maybe in future we can show people what we do, if it's okay. And there's so much that we can share, and people will be in the know of if they see a person on a wheelchair and he has a spinal injury, they will know what goes around before that person is in the streets, or is working, or is doing whatever that he's doing. There's a lot of work which is being done, and yeah, I think in future we can show people more.
Yeah, most definitely. There was a comment asking about pressure sores, because in the previous video I did just briefly showed my pressure sores, especially in my feet. So in future we'll definitely have that conversation. And it is also important to note that I might have a caregiver, but there are other people with disabilities who are 100% independent and they do not need caregivers. So it's not to say that everybody who has a disability requires a full-time caregiver or they need care like I do. No, caregiving looks very differently for very different people. So my story is mine. So if you have a friend who has a disability and has a care, they ask them about the specifics of their caregiving dynamics. So for now, that is all. This was a rather long video, but we had a lot of questions, but I don't feel like we have even scratched the surface. As my dad has said, when it comes to caregiving, there's so much to talk about, and I'm sure in future we'll find time when we have something to talk about, and we will come back here and we will collaborate on another video.
Okay.
Yeah, but for now, goodbye.
Goodbye and thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.